Yes, your boobs are falling out.
We have
Fix your shirt.
Showed.
Yeah. I told you, this is why I don't wear those built-in bra things, because now I'm about 2 centimeters away from a nip slip.
So why don't you fix your shirt so Maester
Take down. It's fine. I mean, why bother?
And here's the portion of the show where we talk about Widow Wolfsbane boobs.
You need to be able to concentrate. You're not going to be able to hold the conversation while you're looking at her nips falling out.
Warning, the following show will spoil the hell out of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire books and the TV show A Game of Thrones. Also, you're probably going to find a fuck ton of bad language. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Death and boobies, 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 death and boobies.
Welcome back to the Ironwood Network Book Club. I am your host, Maester Ironwood. I am here, as always, with Lady Wyvern and Widow Wolfsbane. Today we will be discussing Bran, Chapter 2. Ladies, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good this morning. How are you guys?
Feeling fantastic. Breaking hearts,
good.
It's fine.
Got coffee? Good to go.
Breaking hearts already, huh?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
All right.
You got a good rack, you got to break a lot of hearts. Just saying. Putting that out there. Listen, guys, if she's got a good rack, she might be a heartbreaker.
And yet it's still worth it, so whatever.
Yeah, but there's some of us that don't have a rack that's as big as yours, and we can still be heartbreakers.
Well, to be fair, your head's not as big as her rack. I mean, so...
I'm pretty sure one of my boobs is as big as your head.
Probably.
My one tit is the size of a human head on my chest here, so...
So no wonder it's hard for her to find the heart behind it.
Exactly, that's why it's cold and dead, because there's a lot of stuff in the way.
It shouldn't be cold and dead, there's all that warmth right there.
Ice heart.
Alright.
I'm like the Night Queen over here. might be the reason why I'm a widow. Wink, nudge, nudge.
I thought that's because you killed them.
Yeah, because I have a nice heart, so I killed them. Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to be discussing Bran. Bran climbing walls, Bran falling from walls.
Bran not knowing what sex is and thinking people are wrestling.
Lannisters banging each other.
Yep.
All sorts of good stuff. Why don't you go ahead and get us started with a quick synopsis of the chapter?
Alright, so this chapter, if you're not a outrageous diehard fan that needs a lot of information and morbid facts just to know them, it has a lot of information that's relatively unnecessary.
Oh, very necessary.
Well, no, if you're not a diehard fan like we are, who are doing a podcast, it's unnecessary. Most people are going to care all the names of the wolves and whose wolf belongs to who. The 7 people who are part of the King's Knight or the King's Guard. He's naming off the King's Guard because he wants to be in the King's Guard. Going through a bunch of stuff through his
the layout of Winterfell.
Yeah, the whole layout of Winterfell. It's really good to know and have for people who want to have the whole backstory put together. But for people who are just kind of reading the book for to read it.
I'm going to just assume that there's probably not a casual reader reading the book and then listening to a podcast breaking down the book. I'm just going to go with the assumption that they probably want to know as much as possible.
If you're a casual reader, go ahead and subscribe, because we want to know who you guys are. It's not a ploy at all. So he's going over the names of the wolves and everything. He's going over the dragon lords that built everything and talking about Old Nan for a little bit and the stories that she would tell him, listening to the King's Guard and everything like that, thinking about how he wanted to be a King's Guard and how 2 of the King's Guard came to Winterfell and everything. I don't know, all those things that a little 7-year-old boy is all fascinated by. So he's going through and he's supposed to go by and say goodbye to everybody because he's supposed to be leaving the next day to go south with his father and the whole fleet of people that came in to go back to King's Landing. And then we finally meet Hodor.
We don't meet Hodor.
Well, no.
We just hear mention of the fact that Hodor is the stable boy.
Who says nothing but Hodor.
Hodor.
So, talks about some of the other people who are around Winterfell, the shops or whatever, the one guy always gives him a blueberry every time he goes in, or a blackberry.
Nope. the guy, the mysterious unnamed person in the gardens.
Yeah.
Who gives him a blackberry.
Anyway, so we're going through here. He gets to the stable where he's mentions that Hodor's there, and he went to the stable first before saying goodbye to anybody. He went to the stable first, and then he realized when he was looking at his pony that it wasn't his pony anymore. That he's now going to be having a horse to ride down to King's Landing on. He gets very upset about the fact that he doesn't get to keep his pony anymore, which is actually something that I thought was kind of cute because I like horses and I'm a horse people. So, and there's much to be said about like your first horse. Yeah, they say there's a lot to be said about the first horse who teaches you how to ride, even if regardless if it's a horse or a pony. A big bond gets brought into the fact that some giant in a pony case, 500 to 700 pound animal has decided not to kill you and to let you sit on its back and, will listen to your every command and teach you how to do stuff. So, there's that. So he runs away, all sad and everything, and decides to go climbing. He goes down and says that he tells his wolf, stay here, lay down, or whatever, and then after he starts climbing, he starts thinking about all the times that he's climbed in the past, and he keeps getting in trouble for all those times, and the one time his parents made him stay in the God's Wood to reflect about what he did, and when his father came into the God's Wood the next morning to come get him, he was at the top of the tree, sleeping in the weirwood tree. So he climbed to the top of the tree? Yeah, he had climbed to the weirwood tree. What was it?
Sentinel tree.
Oh, one of the sentinel trees. Sorry, one of the sentinel trees. He climbed to the top of the sentinel tree and fell asleep in the tree. And so his father's like, you know what? Fuck it, you little shit. You can climb as much as you want, because you're a fucking squirrel.
You're not mine.
Yeah, you're not mine. Paraphrasing here, of course I am, but...
You're not mine, you're a squirrel.
Yeah, you're not my son, you're a squirrel. You can climb as much as you want, just don't let your mother catch you.
She's a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes through thinking about all the times that his mother tried to get everybody else other than Ned to tell him don't do this, where the Maester made a clay version of him and threw him off the top of the building and was like, that's what's gonna happen to you, kid.
Foreshadowing alerts.
Yeah, and then
I'm not made
the things
of clay.
and the things all shattered and everything. Yeah, and then Bran's just like, I'm not made of clay, so I'm fine. And walks away.
No, you're what? I'm not stupid.
So
I thought it was 7.
7, whatever.
Yeah, it's a 7-year-old.
9-year summer, 7-year-old boy.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep. So, and he's just sitting there, and he's on all that stuff or whatever, and he tries to pull off the snowball, and then he gets up to the top of the old tower where he went through the God's Wood is the easiest way to get up to the old broken tower. He's climbing up the tower, and then he starts hearing some voices while he's up there. And he decided that he needs to sit there and listen, but he keeps trying to think of ways to get closer without going in front of the window or making a lot of noise to get over there. He ends up finding a way over there, but he's hearing all this stuff. He realizes that they're talking about his dad and that he needed to listen to this conversation because he probably wanted to be like a little fucking reporter and go listen and tell his dad, Daddy,
well,
these people are evil.
He's 7, of course he's going to go tell his dad what he heard somebody else saying about it.
Well, yeah, So, 7-year-olds are tattletales. So, he goes in there, he ends up getting caught, but before that, he's sitting there, he, gets onto the gargoyle, is hanging upside down like a fucking monkey, and is watching these two people who he can't see the faces on, he just sees that there's the guy standing in front of the girl and that there's blonde hair. And, apparently they're wrestling.
Naked.
They're nakedly wrestling with each other, and apparently he's winning. And he's hurting her really badly because she keeps saying, no, stop it, please stop.
And she's moaning.
And she's got a deep moan in her throat. So obviously he's winning.
Hashtag winning.
Hashtag winning, yes. So,
this child.
Yeah, and apparently he was, I'm assuming because he had something he had his hands buried in between her legs. I honestly, as a 7-year-old who doesn't know what is happening, I'm also envisioning that he thinks that he's doing a low blow and he's got her by the dick, because he probably doesn't know that women don't have a dick.
Probably.
He probably just thinks that everyone's got the same parts because he's still 7 and he doesn't even know what's going on.
Well, I don't know. There's the kid in kindergarten cop who's
boys have penis. That was a girl. That was a girl that said that.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No, that's a boy.
No, it was a girl.
He's got a bowl cut.
It was a girl.
No, it's a little kid in a blue button-up shirt.
That was the kid who told him that it was a tumor.
No.
Yeah.
Either way, younger than Bran.
Yes.
My dad's a guy in college.
That's because the mom was a whore. in that thing, in that instance.
Now I have to look it up.
Possibly no penises and vaginas.
My dad is a gynecologist, and he said vaginas.
Yeah, but no, it's a little girl that says that because that's one of my favorite lines in that movie. I love that movie.
I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah, you look that up. It's a little blonde girl that says it, and he just like gets all flustered and moves on. But anyway, so he's like sitting there watching these two people wrestle with each other, and then she like apparently he made a sound or he moved or something that he wasn't aware of that he did because she opens her eyes and sees that he's there, and then he starts falling because he's like he got scared that he got saw or that he was seen that he got saw. Yeah, so that he got saw, and then he was able to catch himself on the windowsill before completely falling all the way down. The guy who we all know, like we all know who have read this, that is Jamie Lanister, because it's the queen and the other blonde dude. There's only one other blonde dude really other than Tyrion. So he pulls him back up, puts him or holds him like right there, and is like talking to him or whatever, and asks him whatever, and then he says loathingly, like, the things that I do for love, and then shoves him out the window. And then, Bran is just sitting there, falling into empty air, trying to figure out what the fuck's happening.
It's a little boy with a bowl cut and a blue button-up shirt.
Pretty sure it was the little girl.
This is a clip from the fucking movie.
I'm pretty sure it's a girl.
In the face of video evidence, yet again.
You talking about that little girl that says my dad's a gynecologist? And
Maybe.
He looks at vaginas all day long.
My dad's a gynecologist.
Oh my god, I remember that one.
Doesn't she play Beethoven?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Anyway, so I will deny things even in the face of video evidence because I don't like to be wrong, but I will admit when I'm wrong occasionally.
Bullshit!
That's the gynecologist. It's the same kid.
Never was it vaginas all day long. Alright, and then it ends off with somewhere in the distance a wolf was howling and circling the broken tower. The crows were waiting for their corn. I think that his wolf is trying to tell him, like, listen, what the fuck are you doing?
Get the fuck down.
Yeah, he wouldn't stop. Like, the wolf knew that there was something wrong with the situation when he first started climbing. Like, the wolf never, like, his wolf never really seems to, like, from the way that he's, like, saying it in the book is that he never really,
He's not a very vocal wolf.
Yeah, he's not quiet like Ghost is. But he's not really either, like when he goes climbing, the wolf doesn't seem to do anything. The wolf doesn't really care.
Yeah, he just sits and watches.
He just sits and waits.
Except for this time.
But this time the wolf's like, no, come back, no! And he's like, shut the fuck up, you're worse than my mother. And then leaves. But yeah, so that happened. And I think he was a jackass for not listening to his wolf personally. Let's put that out there.
7. He's not...
speak, so...
His wolf was speaking. His wolf was howling incessantly when he doesn't usually do that.
If your pets were acting abnormal, more abnormal than usual, wouldn't you think something is up? Oh, he's not superstitious in the least. Bad person to ask. Very bad person to ask.
Pets still have like a cognitive awareness though of like weird situations. And that's the reason, like, they have better senses than we do, and they know more than we do. But they know more than we do in a sense that, like, they use dogs that can sense seizures and can sense for people who have low blood sugar or high blood sugar and can alert them to stuff like that. So, like, they have a better sense of, like, their surroundings. So, and I think that I think his wolf knew that there was something different about the tower that day. And the wolf could probably hear them up there talking to each other.
Yeah, probably.
So he's probably like, you're going to go up there, like, there's people up there, like, bad idea, like, there's never anybody up there. So I think his wolf was trying to tell him, don't go up there, there's fucking people up there this time. You're going to get caught. What the fuck's good of having a wolf as your lookout if you're not going to fucking listen to your lookout? That's like the guy who's out there in the bank, like, hey guys, the cops are coming, like, we need to go. And you guys are like, no, it's fine, like, give it 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
The fuck's the point of having a lookout?
Right, if you're not going to listen to him.
Yeah.
You don't think the wolf was trying to warn him? You just think he was being a little crybaby wolf?
I think, to me, it just read like he was out playing with Bran, and then Bran just kind of left him by himself, and he's like...
Yeah, but the wolf doesn't normally do that.
None of the wolves really do that. None of the wolves are really vocal enough to that extent.
Not that we know of.
Well, yeah, not that we know of, but Like, they don't ever say anything about how the wolves are, like, outrageously loud
Until
the next chapter.
So they say that the wolf is being loud.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. So, well, hold on. Let me look at this and see if there's anything that I would infer from the surrounding text.
We've got our skeptical guy over here. He's like, no, it says he's being loud.
Never heard, up until this point, and we've read all the chapters, never read anything about Summer being a quiet wolf.
Never read anything about him being a
We
loud
never
wolf
read anything
either.
about Summer at all until this point.
So all we know of Summer is that when Bran leaves Summer alone, he cries and owls.
See, here's my thing, though, is that the one chapter where it says that Bran looked back down at his wolf, a strange chill went through him, and he began to climb again. And the wolf howled, or the wolf started howling again. So
a sense of foreboding, maybe.
Yeah, like he doesn't usually get chills from his wolf. Yeah, I mean it's
when they both felt foreboding. Then
foreboding's a feeling.
Maybe they were just feeling the connection, like big.
Maybe.
I mean, it could be, but at the same time, like
there's no textual evidence for Summer is a quiet wolf until this exact point when Summer starts howling. There's zero textual evidence for that whatsoever.
All right.
All we have is textual evidence that at this moment, the first we're ever really learning about Summer
is that he's howling and whining a lot.
He's howling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the only wolf that's ever talked about as a quiet wolf is Ghost.
It doesn't make any noise.
Doesn't make any noise. So, I just think that it's like if you take your dog out for a walk, you take it to the park, and then you like hook it up to like a pole, and then walk away from it. What's it going to do? It's going to whimper and cry because you're leaving it there.
Oh no, my dog would just sit there and stare at me and lay down.
He's always
my dog's retarded,
climbing, and the wolf is with him until he gets up the side of a building. Wouldn't the wolf know this is like a normal thing?
It's still gonna whimper. I mean, you could take your dog to the park and do that today, and it would whimper, and then you could do it again in 3 days, and it would also whimper.
Probably. I don't know. I still think in the book it was a type of foreboding.
There's definitely some foreshadowing in the chapter. I don't think it's the wolf. I mean, I think we're meant to see the connection between Bran and the wolf. Obviously, I think we're meant to see that. I don't know as though we're meant to see like the wolf knows what's going to happen because.
Well, I don't think the wolf knows what's going to happen because
evidence that the wolf doesn't make noise until now.
True.
I mean, we're specifically told that Ghost is very different than the other wolves in the fact that he doesn't make noise.
But like wolves and I would assume direwolves as a species are not loud overall to begin with. Like they're not loud like dogs or dogs
any
bark.
Textual evidence in the book.
Well, I'm talking more like in an overall standpoint.
Are you talking about a fanciful creature?
Yeah, it's a fake
direwolves
creature.
Are a real creature.
They were a real creature like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And they're not the exact same kind of wolves that are in this book. These are magical wolves.
Yeah, these are magical.
Fucking magical wolves.
So there's zero textual evidence for direwolves being quiet.
Even if these
the only one we know of that's ever quiet is Ghost. That's the only textual evidence we have for wolves in this story being quiet, and that's Ghost.
All right.
So I would just assume that the rest of them are like
normal
a normal wolf,
wolves.
which howl, because later in this chapter and the next chapter, you get wolves howling.
Well, no, because in
overall,
an earlier
are fairly quiet species.
chapter, or was it? I can't remember. They locked all the wolves in the God's Blood, and they howled. All of them,
except for Ghost.
Right. So he's just a normal wolf, dire wolf.
I mean, they're magical direwolves because they have a magical connection to the Stark children, but
yeah.
But I don't see anything. Anything in the text
up.
here that like points me to Summer trying to warn Bran that something is going on.
I don't know. I felt like that was happening, but that could also be going for reaching. I don't know.
I mean, if you see it, you see it. I've read this chapter. I don't see any evidence of that being the case. But if you see it, you see it. But
I see it. I see it as his wolf kind
Maybe
of
you're
like,
looking
dude,
for
stop being a dick.
I don't know.
I could just be looking for it. I could be looking for the fact that I want the wolf to be like, dude, stop being a fucking idiot.
I mean, George is obviously warning us that something bad is going to happen to Bran. Like, oh, let me throw this clay Bran off of the tower and watch it shatter. And then, watch Bran fall and
his legs shatter.
and his back shatters and
his legs shatter.
Yeah, so...
You don't need those things.
So definitely some foreshadowing. I don't think it comes from the wolf.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I see your side of this.
I do love the information that we get about Winterfell, though. How
Yes.
Winterfell is like a fucking maze.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because you can climb
Twice.
up to the 3rd floor of one tower, run across the roof of
And you're on the
another
second
building.
floor of another building.
And
Yeah.
you come out.
They didn't level
You
the
come
grounds
out
before
on
they
the
made the
ground
towers.
level
Right.
by the north gate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't level anything before they
They
built
just
the
built
stuff.
the hills
everything.
into it, so you specifically don't know where you are.
Yes.
Unless you actually know
No,
the
Winterfell.
place.
Yep.
Which it's
Great
it's
defense.
very similar to my work. You come in the basement, you go through the tunnel, and you show up on the 2nd floor of the next building.
Right. Yeah. Which, yeah, so I mean, it's a great,
But
it's a
for
great
them-
defensive strategy.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say for them, it's got to be a defense.
Is it? Well, yeah, say the TC3
Because-
building
yeah.
is like that, because TC3, the college, you go on the 2nd floor, you go across the tunnel, you're on the 1st floor of the next building over. Your book's upset with you. Oh, look at that.
20%.
My book
20
doesn't.
to get through
My
that.
book doesn't need to be charged because it's got paper.
But yeah, I do like the fact that
I like that it's like
it
literally.
was tedious reading. I had to read it through a few times to get to try and understand how he was describing it, because reading it, I can't always picture it. I have to like draw it out or have a. I can't
It's
just.
also not your
you
kind
need
of
a-
thing to really
you need a
focus on.
schematic.
You're right. It's not. I could give me a schematic and I can look at it and I'll enjoy
No,
it.
you said it wrong. It's a schematic.
Schematic.
Shaker.
It took me a few times to read it to try and understand the layout. Give me anything and read it, and I can't explain it to you. But give me a picture or a 3D model, and I'll have a field day with it.
Yeah, interesting layout for Winterfell, definitely.
You would definitely have to live in Winterfell and know Winterfell to get around it.
And Bran even
Which is
talks about the fact
probably-
that there are people who live there longer than he has who do not know
Yeah,
the
who don't
castle
know
Yeah.
as well as he does.
So-
Yeah, well, because he's always climbing all over the goddamn place.
Yeah,
He's
so
finding the nooks and
to
crannies.
break into the place and take over the place has got to be
Not easy.
not easy
Stupid.
at all.
And something that only a really stupid person would do, stupidly.
Bolton,
No.
Dig off.
Dig off.
but he grew up there.
Yeah, but
So
he still
knows
doesn't.
it.
He's lived there. He's one of those people who's probably lived there longer than Bran, since he's older than Bran
Yeah.
by a couple years. Well, he's 19 and Bran's
Yeah.
7, and Bran probably still knows the place 10 times
Right,
better than him.
but I'm saying Theon could probably give schematics to somebody and somebody could break in. Or not break in, what's the
Well,
word?
Theon, they just took over the courtyard,
Yeah.
and then from there they were fine, right? Because all the men, the fighting men, would because like all of like the Stark family were already fucking gone.
Yeah. Yeah, Maester Lewin does. Oh, it was left. Yeah.
And they really can't do much. One's too
Hold
young
on.
and the other one
Hold
can't
on,
walk.
hold on.
I like though that he's also like the one thing he talks about is the gate or the wall around the outside of Winterfell.
Mhm.
Like you can crawl in it at one point, and it can take you all the way around pretty much the entire castle.
Yeah, there's like
Just-
one
just in, like, the-
giant hollow
Yeah.
tunnel through the middle of it, and only he knows about it.
Yeah, like
Or
he
someone
thinks,
did.
He thinks that he's the one that knows
Yeah.
because he thinks that Maester Lewin doesn't even know that that tunnel goes all the way around pretty much the entire place.
See, that would terrify me. I'd be like, I'm not walking in this.
I'd be
shit.
like, fucking spiders, no thank you.
Give
'Cause
me-
trust
give
me,
me
if they
a
have
hazard
dire wolves, I would assume that they have dire spiders, and I'd be like, nope.
Fuck no.
Nope.
It would be like Aragog.
You get to a story later on in the books about giant ice spiders that the
Yeah, nope,
others
done.
ride around on
You can
to do
stop
battle.
there. You
Are
can
you
stop
serious?
right there.
Oh,
Nope,
yeah.
nope. I'm done with that already.
Aragog. Other.
Oh god, you know what? Nope, can't handle it. Can't handle it.
Yeah, Aragog's frosty feathers.
Do you have to put a hat on him to make him come to life? Like,
Oh, jeez.
oh my god. Alright, so let's go through. Let's see what
What
kind of
about
notes I've got
the
here.
conversation that Jamie and Cersei had? Cersei was 100% certain that Ned was going to refuse the king's proposal.
Yeah.
Why would
Well, she was
why
right.
Would,
He was 100% gonna
but
fucking refuse
why
it.
Why would she think that he wouldn't go south?
Because
they are best friends. They're
She's-
like brothers to each
She's
other.
smart enough to know Ned, to know that this is where Ned's power is.
Right.
And he doesn't want to leave. He
This is
doesn't want to
where
go
Ned's
someplace
family
foreign.
is. The last time any Stark went south,
They all
to
died.
King's Landing, they were killed by the king.
Yep.
I mean, so she's right in her assumption that he would not want her. He wasn't going to.
Right, and then Jamie's also right in his assumption that he's going to do what the king wants.
But until that letter from Lysa that said that Jon Arryn had been murdered by the Lannisters.
You mean the frightened cow?
And Lewin,
yeah, the frightened cow.
And Lewin and Catelyn basically browbeat him into doing it.
Right.
He wasn't going to go. He was going to tell Robert no. Because he's probably the only person in the entire kingdom who could have told Robert no on that. And
it's just live to tell the tale, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, no, Cersei is definitely terrified.
Yeah, because
that Ned is going south with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jamie doesn't seem to get it. Jamie makes the line, give me an honorable opponent rather than an ambitious one any day. And she's like, no, what you fail to grasp is Ned Stark is smart, she's wrong on that account. He's very bad at the politics.
Yeah, he's incredibly bad at politics.
Yeah.
And so she has a lot less to
excellent
worry about
in his honor, though.
Yeah.
See, I like in this conversation, though, that in Catelyn's chapter, she's like, well, it was the Lannisters, it was the queen, like, so there's some accusations being thrown around. And then Cersei's right here is kind of like, yeah, I fucking killed Jon Arryn, and this fucking cow knows about it. Like, what the fuck are we gonna do about this situation? She didn't outright say it, but she said that the accusations are gonna point to her, and that now that she's in the Eyrie, she's gonna grow more
How would she know
gold.
there's accusations out there?
Exactly. Like,
how would she know there's accusations?
Because
the only way she would know there are accusations if she knows that Lysa knows she did it.
I don't think she did it. I think she wanted it done.
You think she can? She wouldn't have done it herself. She would have paid someone to do it for her. Unless you think Lysa killed her husband?
I know who killed her husband.
Wasn't it Cersei?
I know who killed her husband in the show, but not in the book. In the show, it was Lysa. Lysa admits it when she's fucking Littlefinger.
In the show?
Yeah, in the
Lysa
show.
And Littlefinger.
Yeah, in the show, Lysa and Littlefinger
really?
did it. Yeah, She thought her husband was weak and had no ambition or whatever, even though he's the king's fucking man.
She wanted Littlefinger, and Littlefinger said, "Well, if you want me, you have to kill Jon Arryn." And so she did.
Yeah.
How did I forget that?
I don't know. That was like step one of his chaos ladder.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. There wasn't actually a scene in the show where they were having sex, was it?
Although I think
no, but they talked about it before he threw out the moon door.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That episode, okay.
Yeah, so actually reading through it, like skimming over at this point, I guess it's not that she's afraid of the accusations of her. I think it's that she thinks it's gonna fall on her somehow. Because, let's face it, the king hates her.
Right.
And she's flat out states, the king doesn't love me, and Jamie's like, well, who the fuck's fault is that, you bitch?
Right. She's afraid that just with the accusation, Robert's going to be off with her head.
Well, he should at this point.
Yeah, because he obviously loves Jon Arryn way more than he ever loved Cersei.
Well, yeah, considering the first time he ever fucked her, he called her
Lyanna.
Yeah, honest mistake.
It was still at that point.
An honest mistake?
I feel like at the point that they got married, though.
Have you ever had an honest mistake that big, Matt?
Yes.
No. I have not.
Okay, then.
I don't know. I think Lyanna was still pretty fresh.
Apparently, Widow Wolfsbane has.
It occasionally happens.
Honest mistakes.
Especially when you're with someone who's really, really bad and they don't know what they're doing, and you're trying to pretend that it's someone who's better and knows what they're doing, and then... It was Johnny Depp, though.
Of course it was.
Johnny Depp.
Of course it was.
I love you, Johnny Depp.
Oh, man.
How do you know how good he is?
No, not the Mad Hatter. Jack Sparrow. Yeah, obviously.
Why
Dirty
is the
pirate.
rum gone?
Exactly. But, so... oh, man, I forgot what we were talking about. All I know is that, obviously, Cersei knows that the king doesn't love her. Oh, I think that one of the reasons he called her Lyanna, other than the fact that he is still in love with her at this point, 15 years later, is that when he got married to Cersei, there was still a pretty fresh wound.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She was just killed.
Yeah, she was literally just killed a couple months before.
Yeah.
And then Lannister's like, hey, marry my fucking daughter, asshole, because I just helped you win a war that I came in at the last fucking minute of.
Yeah, that I didn't really actually help you win.
Yeah, exactly. But I've got a shit ton of money, so marry my daughter, I'll give you, here's your dowry. And he's just like, cha-ching! There's that cartoon where their eyes turn a little dollar sign.
Yeah.
Trying to find that song that I was thinking of. I don't know.
I can hear it in my head.
Yeah, it's on the radio occasionally. I don't remember. It might be the Killers. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Who knows?
All right, and then where are we at this part?
So now we get to...
We just discussed Lyanna.
So
Lyanna,
we got the Lannisters are banging.
I think it's kind of funny that in the one of the big differences in the book and the show in this is that in the book they're up against the wall standing, and in the show they're doggy style, like staring at, like looking out the window doggy style.
And they're wearing clothes.
And they're wearing clothes.
On the TV show.
Yeah, and in this they're like butt ass naked. And
who has that conversation butt ass naked? By the way.
If you're in the middle of banging.
I mean, they're probably in the middle of banging. They probably stopped to have this conversation. They were probably, like, banging, and then they're like, oh, like, having a little bit of talk.
At the moment, like, he's into the banging, and she's really just kind of, like, there because she wants to run by all the shit that's going on by him. The only way she can, like, get him off by himself is to be like, hey, look, I'll fuck you, but, you gotta listen to me bitch about things.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because they were definitely already naked when Bran saw them, and they had been having this conversation for like 5 minutes.
Maybe they were undressing while they were doing it. They could have been he couldn't see them. Yeah, and the fact that we were doing like a slight compare and contrast between the show and the book, and that in the show they're doggy style and clothed, and in the show or the book they're naked and standing up against the wall.
And they're wrestling.
They're not fucking, they're just wrestling.
Well, you know, to most children, they assume it's wrestling because they have no idea what sex is.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, I want to go back to the beginning of the chapter real quick because I just realized that I had this note up here. I think it's kind of funny how Bran thinks that Rob's the only one not doing something cool. That Rob's the only one that gets to be left behind because, and he's not even including Rickon, even though Rickon gets to stay at home too.
3.
Yeah, but he knows Rickon's a kid. But all the older kids get to go do all this fun stuff.
How him and his super cool that Jon gets to go to the wall. He's like, that's almost as good as going down to King's Landing.
Yeah, he's so excited.
He's a kid.
He's like, and Jon gets to go with Uncle Ben to the wall, and oh my god, that's so cool.
And Rob gets to stay here and do nothing.
Yeah, and Rob has to stay behind. Oh, it sucks to be Rob.
Rob has to stay behind and take care of people. Oh,
how terrible!
And I get to go learn how to be a knight.
Yeah, because he wants and that's where he goes into the Kingsguard thing, where he's excited about the Kingsguard. And he knows all the Kingsguard members, and
but he knows the famous ones from the past, like Sir Arthur Dane, Sword of the Morning.
Yep.
Which is one of your favorite ones. One of your favorite characters.
Yes, I have a feeling we may find out much more regarding Sir Arthur Dane. I think he's still alive.
You think he's still alive?
I think he's still alive. Okay,
so your boobs are falling out. Fix your shirt.
Yeah. I told you, this is why I don't wear those built-in bra things, because now I'm about 2 centimeters away from a nip slip.
So why don't you fix your shirt so Maester
It's fine. I mean, why bother?
And here's the portion of the show where we talk about Widow Wolfsbane boobs.
You need to be able to concentrate. You're not going to be able to hold the conversation while you're looking at her nips falling out of her shirt.
There's a reason I chose to be a widow.
Shocker.
You heard it right here, folks. I'm terrified for myself. She chose to be a widow.
Yeah, most people don't choose to be a widow. I chose to be a widow. Just if you see a little red hourglass somewhere, just watch it back.
Yeah, right.
Just put that out there.
Oh my god, you should put one in our YouTube video. We'll get one as a table decor.
Maybe I'll get a black hourglass tattoo somewhere, or a red and black hourglass tattoo. No, I've already got a big back. I've got a back piece planned already.
All right, so they're naked wrestling.
Cersei somehow notices Bran.
He must have made a noise because
freaks out.
Her eyes popped right open
and freaks out.
I don't know, because I occasionally open my eyes during sex. He may or may not have actually made a sound. In my opinion, he doesn't know if he made a sound,
right? And
we're in his point of view. So he may or may not even actually really made a sound, but there's an occasional time where you kind of open your eyes and you look around a little bit.
Yeah.
And she may have just her eyes might have just shot open because she he might have hit a really good spot.
Yeah.
And her eyes
Jamie finally hit the G-spot for the first time ever.
Yeah, he found it.
Her eyes flew open.
That's why she was so surprised, as he finally fucking got it.
And there's this little child.
And then there's a little child's face.
He found that mythical thing that nobody else has ever been able to find, the clit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he found the magical clit.
And there just happens to be a
Yeah, and then she opens her eyes, there just happens to be like a child's face right there, and then she starts and then that's when she starts panicking.
Yeah, and then Jamie
Excuse me.
protects the realm and his family and his children by throwing Bran out the window, hoping he'll die.
Yes. And I think
protects.
I mean, he obviously didn't want to do it because
he had no hesitation. He asked the child how old he was, and he pushed him out the window.
It doesn't mean he didn't have hesitation. He was probably asking the kid questions because he was hesitating. He didn't want to do it.
How is that protecting the realm?
He was young enough that he wouldn't be able to kind of like recall or be taken seriously.
Yeah, and then after he found out that he's 7, he's like, no, he's old enough. Like, I think he didn't want to do it. Like, if he was like a 4-year-old or something, they probably could have played it off as like, no, he just, he's making shit up.
Yeah, if it were Rickon, they would have just been like, he's just telling stories.
Yeah. Or like, it's like imaginary friends or something.
I don't know if it was Rickon, he probably still would have pushed him off the windowsill.
I think you might be right in that he probably still would have pushed him off just because, like I mentioned in previous shows, if what was happening in that room gets out in a provable way, all of his children would be immediately killed by the king.
Because
and then he probably and then both of them would be like Tyrion and Tywin would be the only Lannisters left, more or less. Maybe, and that's if Robert doesn't decide to go off and kill the whole family.
Which and it would probably start a war because Tywin in that case would definitely go to war.
Yes,
against the king
for killing his grandchildren and his daughter and son.
Yeah, so
right, but at this point in the book, they don't know that Jaime's children are Cersei's children.
No, but Jaime knows that.
Yes. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. If Bran goes and says, hey, Jaime was banging Cersei, and then there's already rumors that they're banging.
Like, even if Bran at his age went and told somebody that Jaime and Cersei were wrestling naked with each other, that would still, like, adults would still be like, oh,
that's treason.
Shit.
Well, that's treason.
Yeah.
So both Jaime and Cersei would be killed.
Yeah.
Right.
Then they would come into question, well, the king's kids have golden hair.
Yeah, and that's
they would probably
all his
also,
bastards have brown hair.
Right. They would probably also be killed.
Yeah.
And Tywin would certainly go to war
over that
against the king.
Yeah.
So they push Bran out the window in the hopes of
him dying, so he can't tell them he can't say what happened. I think he's hesitating because he doesn't, like, he's a father himself and he doesn't want to kill a child.
But he knows that if Bran tells Ned will be believed by the king.
Yes.
Right.
Ned would be the one person the king would believe for anything.
So kill one child in the hopes of saving
his whole family.
Plus whoever dies.
Plus thousands who would die in the war.
Who would die in war. Which is why he says with loathing, or he pushes him out the window, like he says, the things I do for love with loathing, because he doesn't want to kill the kid. He doesn't want to push him out a window.
Did he say it with loathing?
Yes.
Yeah. He said, the things I do for love, he said with loathing, and he gave Bran a shove.
Yep.
So he didn't want to hurt the kid, but he knows that he has to not be found out to save a bajillion people.
I still don't like Jaime at this point.
See, and this is why I don't think Jaime needs a redemption arc, because I can't point to a single thing that Jaime's done that
doesn't save a
not
group of
for
people.
the greater good.
Yeah. Even being the Kingslayer.
But to try and kill a 7-year-old.
So that way, a 14-year-old, a 9-year-old, and how old is Tommen? I don't know. 5-year-old or whatever. So that way, 3. So he's killing one child to save the life of 3 children, and then to save the life of his sister, and then to save the lives of the people who would have to go to war for the fact that him and his sister are now know that if you don't dead, and his dad's going to take revenge on it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those things, do you kill, 4 dogs, or do you just kill this one dog?
Yeah.
Now we're comparing children to dogs, because we all know that if you don't have children, dogs are the next best thing. Cats are great too. I mean, I would be more of a cat person if I wasn't so allergic to them. I say that to everybody. I'm a dog person because I'm allergic to cats. That's it. I would have cats every day of the week, though.
So it's still a horrible thing to do.
We're not saying that it's a good thing to throw.
We're not saying it's justified either.
It's this case, it's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Especially since Bran's not, and because of the way that Bran's described in all the other chapters, he's the most friendly and outgoing and lovable child that the Starks have.
Yeah.
He's literally the sweetest kid in the world, and I think I think that's one of the other reasons why Jamie's so hesitant and he wants to find out how old he is
because
before doing it.
He's the favorite.
Yeah, if like you met a bunch of kids too that he's kids, just like first of all, this kid would be fawning over Jamie because Jamie's a Kingsguard member and he knows that and he wants to be the Kingsguard. Yeah. And so Jamie already, like, he probably knows this because the kid's, like, over the past 2 weeks, I'm sure the kid has been like, oh my god, I want to do your job, I love you so much.
Right.
Yeah. So he probably doesn't want to shove him out a window because now he knows, too, that he's ruining this kid's entire future.
Yeah.
So, like...
Which is why also in the next chapter he talks about it being a mercy to put him down.
Yes. Yeah, because he knows that the kid wants to be a Kingsguard member and he doesn't, like, now his
He
life's
says
ruined.
it in the hopes that they'll give him the milk and the poppy so the kid doesn't talk, not because, you know, he's destroyed the kid's whole life.
Well, I mean,
I think it's honestly both, honestly.
Yeah. I think they're hoping, too, that if they give him a lot of the milk and the poppy, if he wakes up and remembers anything, they'll think that it's just
like
from dreams. Yeah, it's fever dreams and stuff like that, which is why in the show, when Sansa's like, well, Maester was giving him milk of the poppy, blah, 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 he didn't mean to say those things.
Right.
Like, so I think it's like that kind of mindset.
She's tired
Ned saying that Joffrey's not a real Baratheon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie's definitely torn about what to do here.
But yeah, so I don't know. I feel bad for Jamie in this aspect because like, he knows that kid is, like, he's probably, other than the climbing constantly, he's probably like a really well-behaved kid for the most part, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. And he's obviously torn. I mean, he does it quickly, but just by the fact that he does it with loathing, which means that, and you can read it as okay, he does it for loathing for Bran, but that's not it.
Yeah,
it's loathing for himself for having to do it.
I didn't read it as he had loathing towards Bran, but that it's just I know it's for the greater good. Mm-hmm. But it still sucks.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it absolutely sucks, and that's part of like the tragedy of the story,
right?
Is that, and I think it's a thing that runs throughout the entire series of books. Yeah. Is that the right thing to do isn't even always going to be a good thing,
right?
Like a lot of times you're faced with, especially people in like positions of power and people with great responsibility. Their choices are often bad and worse. You know, they don't have a good choice in them.
Yeah.
And that's what Jamie's faced with right here. A bad choice or a worse choice. The bad choice of killing a single kid, or the worst choice of his whole family being killed and the realm going to war and thousands of people dying.
Yep. I feel like you also can't, like, because you and I both watched the show before reading the books, so, like, a lot of the imagery that we see is imagery from the show.
And
so,
it's hard to differentiate the two.
And you, like, in this part of the book, like, in this specific, like, paragraph, I think, like, you can't think of how, like, Nikolai was smirking.
Right.
He pushed him out the window and he had a smirk on his face saying the things I do for love. Like, there's nothing
there was
in
no
here.
loathing in the TV show.
Yeah, there wasn't loathing in the TV show. It was just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah, that's the down point of watching the TV show before you read the
Whereas
book.
in the book, he talks about loathing, and it's definitely self-loathing. Like, I think
I hope it is.
Like, I even think he has self-loathing for when he killed the king.
Yeah, because it went on everything.
Because he didn't want to do it. It was against his vows.
He was Bran as a child who always wanted to be a Kingsguard, and then here he is a Kingsguard who has to kill the king.
Yeah.
To save thousands of lives.
Yeah.
Again, the things he does for love. I think Jamie, honestly, is one of the most tragic characters in the entire story.
He makes me want to cuddle him to my bosom and, like, make him feel better. It's like, just come here, Jamie, it's okay. Let me stroke your golden locks of hair and you can just rest your head upon my dirty pillows and we'll just cuddle, it's fine. You vote as him.
So disturbed.
I am a bit. That's a hell of a threesome.
It should be broken at the end of that, I'm sure.
He's just one of those people who's got the fucked up wife that...
Like, I imagine that George has a lot of fun writing his character.
I'm trying to think of a character from, like, another series that's kind of in the same boat as him, where, like, he's not a terrible person, he just has to make these choices that everyone hates him for. And I can't think of another character that's, like, a similar thing, because Jamie's just such a poor fuck dude.
Once upon a time, Mr. Gold.
No, because he does it for himself.
Sometimes he does it.
Gold does it for himself.
Not when it comes to Belle.
Not when it comes to Belle, but Rumpelstiltskin always does it for himself, and
when
for the
ends of
trying to get back to his son. So he doesn't do it for the good of, like, everybody. He does it for his own personal reason. Yeah.
If anybody in that show, I would say Hook.
Yeah, Hook makes some bad choices because he's trying to do a lot to help everybody else out. Because he's trying to be a good guy, but he doesn't know how, so he makes a lot of dumb choices.
Yeah. And he has to do bad things that he thinks will help everybody else. Like, he's trying to do wrong things for the right reasons.
Yes.
Like when he lets Emma get her fucking super bad guy powers.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yep. When he tries to kill himself, and then she goes and brings him back or whatever, and brings back as the Dark One, but just wipes his memory about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
Spoiler alert.
If you're talking that show, he's probably the closest you can get to that kind of a character.
Yeah.
And that's the end of Bran 2. We will catch you guys next time here on the Ironwood Network Book Club Podcast when we talk about Tyrion Chapter 1. Yes. Tyrion.
The Imp.
That's the end of the show. First of all, the day this episode's dropping is Widow Wolfsbane's
getting any older
birthday.
Yes.
So happy fucking birthday!
Thank you.
How
happy
old
fucking
are you
birthday,
now? Like 25 for like the third or fourth year in a row.
25 for the second year in a row.
25 for the second year in a row. Okay.
Yeah, it's the anniversary of my 25th birthday. It's my first anniversary.
First anniversary of your 25th birthday. Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right.
I'm not getting any older.
That's great.
I'm going to start regressing in age.
Is that how it works?
Yes. Especially mentally.
Why can't guys do that?
I know, right?
We're not allowed to.
Yeah. I also, if I stay at this age and I keep regressing, then I won't have to be a cougar.
True.
Yeah.
Tell me a cougar.
Nothing. Except social stigma.
I don't think so. I think Cougar made it okay.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Thank you, Courtney Cox.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. I think we made it just fine. I also want to thank our listeners. We had a huge November for the second month we've been doing the podcast.
Yeah, we did. It was phenomenal. Maester's keeping us in the loop with all of the listens and stuff. He sends us messages and lets us know how many numbers we're at and everything, and we're always just kind of blown away.
Yeah, thank you guys. Like I said, November is the second month we've been doing the show. The first full month, because we missed the first week of October.
Yes.
And we had over 400 listens just in November alone. So that was awesome.
It's great that it's picking up speed. We're sitting here thinking it's just going to be kind of like a fun thing to do, and now we actually have people who are waiting for new episodes.
Yeah, there's people who actually listen every week, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing.
So. Shout out to you guys coming back and listening to us bitch at each other.
Absolutely. And also on that note, we got some email from a new listener about our episode on the prologue.
Yes.
So we want to thank Ronald for his email that he just sent us the other day.
That's why we got email, guys.
And so we thought, if you want to send us an email, you can send it to theironwoodnetwork@gmail.com or visit the website iceandfirepod.com, and there's a link to leave us email or comments right there. Also, feel free to leave a rating and review on iTunes.
Indeed.
So those are the ways you can let us know what you think of the show. If you have questions, concerns, comments, think we're doing a bad job, think we're doing an awesome job. Ronald wanted to pick some nits with us.
Yeah, and I mean we're very picky, nitty people over here, so we totally understand.
On things that we had discussed in the prologue episode. So going way back.
Yes.
So let's see. Point one that Ronald wants to address is our discussion of people's names when they go to the Night's Watch, and that the Maesters drop their name, but people in the Night's Watch don't. And that's true.
Yes.
Absolutely correct. And I don't think we suggested that people lose their name at the Night's Watch, because obviously Benjen Stark is still Benjen Stark. Mm-hmm. I think what we mean is they lose the power of their name. They can't inherit titles or lands.
Just because they were just because he's Benjen Stark and he's from the Stark family right next to the wall does not mean that he's going to be Lord Commander in and of itself.
Right, and he's not. I mean, he's not going to in any way be able to take advantage of his name of Stark for more than just kind of like standard business at the wall. Like,
Yeah.
Like, yes, people in the North will probably respect what he has to say about the condition of the Night's Watch, things like that, because he's a Stark, they know the Stark family, things like that, but he can't, like, be a Stark who can inherit Stark lands or anything like that.
Yeah, Sir Waymore Rice has got no claim whatsoever to any of his family's anything anymore.
Yeah.
But he is still Sir Waymore Rice.
Right, yeah. I don't think we meant to imply that they lose their names, because obviously they don't. Waymar Rice was still called Waymar Royce. You know, Lord Commander Mormont is still Mormont.
Yep.
So that's not what we meant to imply. If that's the way it came off, we do apologize.
Indeed.
You know, that's not how we meant it. Second nit that Ronald wanted to pick was that Maester Aemon is not the Mad King's brother. He is his great uncle or uncle, depending on which source you find it from.
Yes.
I don't remember us saying that he was his brother. We might have just been throwing
I think we might have been throwing
shit
some
back
stuff,
and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely not his brother.
No. So what little bit I was looking at is it depends also on the source that you're looking at and what family tree you look at. But he is Aerys' uncle.
Yep.
And he's Dany's great uncle.
Yep.
From what I understand.
Yep. And also, the wildlings are called the wildlings or the free folk. That's it. They're not the wild ones.
I like the wild ones. Where the wild things are, where the wild ones are. But yeah, I understand. That's the only way that they've ever really been referred to.
Yep, but that's it. Just some nits. He also, Ronald sent in a second message where he does not agree with my theory that Ned Stark might have the ability to connect to the Ironwood Network or be a skin changer.
I'm with you on that one, Ron.
He tells us, you know, there's no direct evidence, which I believe I said during the episode where we discussed that there is no direct evidence. But if you
we went in another later episode because we went over that I think on 2 different episodes.
Yeah, but I thought I was pretty clear that I said that there's no direct evidence in the text that Ned has those abilities, but that if you read into certain things, which again, reading into certain things sometimes good, sometimes bad, that I think that the possibility is there that Ned does have those abilities. Perhaps not a warg, because as Ronald points out, warg is a subset of skin changer, which is true. Skin changers, and then warg is specifically skin changing into a wolf.
Okay.
And he said that I disproved my own point by saying that Sansa doesn't have the ability because Lady died so early. And I don't know that Sansa doesn't have that ability. It's just that we haven't seen that ability because she hasn't had a wolf to warg into.
Yeah, she hasn't had an ability to have a connection to develop it with.
Yeah, she might still have the ability to do it. We just don't see her on page enough with Lady to have seen her do it.
Or none of them have the ability except Bran. But I mean, there's theories.
Well, we know Jon also has the ability.
Yeah.
So,
you know.
But yep, I just we wanted to thank Ronald for his message and kind of go over the points that he sent in. And if you guys want to send us messages, feel free. Like I said, we've got multiple ways you guys can contact us.
Yep. We talk to each other about the messages. We go over it. We sit and think on it for a while. Like, we don't just, read it and be like, yeah, whatever.